Hey everybody. So, we had some unavoidable technical issues with the audio for the Finding Nemo episode, so that episode is going to be up next week. This week, of course, we're putting out Exploring the Reef with Jean-Michel Cousteau, which we recorded after we recorded the Finding Nemo episode, in case there are any weird things we talking about that we haven't talked about yet. And the episode that we plug at the end of this episode is actually the episode that's going to be coming up 2 episodes from now. Enjoy!
Ooh,
Bonjour.
good day.
What'd you do today?
Well, it was Halloween. And fun fact, my only movie I'll be watching today is a little movie about it's a documentary about fish. It's a nice little short film. But we'll get into that later. But yeah, it was Halloween today. Ooh.
What did you dress up as?
Luigi. But I only did it because I work. I actually have a topic of conversation. If you want me to talk.
Okay. Yeah.
Although
I can talk about Morocco.
Yeah, we can talk about Morocco too, but I'm going to do something Mark hates, and that's mention of a podcast on this show. But that's because I went to a live recording of a podcast yesterday.
Well, that's fun.
How did this get made? Which, well, let me tell you a story about a coworker. I'm really into how did this get made. Is that did I tell you the story over text? I forget. I don't think I did.
No, I didn't actually know you were going to this show until you sent me the picture.
Okay, so what I did this is before the How Did This Get Made show. This is a completely separate story that bleeds into How Did This Get Made. Last Thursday, previous guest of the podcast, Sarah Knopf, came and visited me, and we went to go see Malignant at the Music Box. Crowd that was cheering the entire time. It was a great time because Malignant rules. Malignant is a good movie. Then afterwards, next day, I noticed at work. Well, I won't give exactly what cued it because normally I know not to bring up my weird movies to my coworkers. But something came up where I was like, to a new coworker. I know I'm being so specific, but anyway, that I went to go see Malignant the previous night, and she goes, "Oh, Malignant. Didn't they do a How Did This Get Made episode on that?" And I'm like, yeah, they did. Not a good episode, but they did. They certainly did an episode on Malignant. Because How Did This Get Made is, I love them as a comedy show, but sometimes their opinions are not good when they cover a good movie. And by that I mean they kind of go into a movie like Malignant and go oh yeah, this is objectively really bad. What were they thinking? When I feel like a movie like Malignant, if you are willing to actually, well, not even put the effort into it, but acknowledge that there are old types of horror movies, it's pretty evidently a campy homage to 90s video store horror. It wears that inspiration on its tint, on the front of it. And James Wan also gave interviews leading up to it, saying yeah, this is what this is, it's not shy about what it is. But anyway, so my coworker's yeah, that was in the How Did This Get Made? They did How Did This Made episode. I'm like, oh, I don't really like that episode because they all hated it. And the reason, you're allowed to hate Malignant. I'm not saying Malignant is a movie that everyone has to love. I'm saying it's a movie people shouldn't just dismiss. That's the key difference here. Because the thing that bothers me about the Malignant episode of How Did This Get Made is because Counterpoint from last year is they have an episode about Old where they go in all willing to hate it, but one of them's no, it's actually seriously messed with my head. It's actually a really good horror movie. So I was hoping from them on Malignant, but I didn't get it. But all this to say, go back to my coworker, is I'm well, I don't really like their episode on it. It's not they don't really give it a fair shake, I feel and it's a movie that's trying to be what they're complaining it is. You can't say a movie's bad for being campy when it's trying to be campy. And then my coworker goes, well, yeah, but you also can't just say you were trying to make a movie bad when you make a bad movie. I'm but it's not a bad movie. And then it was she's I don't know, I didn't see it, but I'm not going to because they said it was bad. I'm but it's not a review show, it's a comedy show. All this to say is that when I go to the How Did This Get Made show, which after this conversation I kind of regret buying tickets to because I'm I don't like what this stands for in regards to Malignant.
Didn't you go to it though?
No, I did because I already bought the tickets, so I wasn't gonna.
I thought you went to the show already.
No, this is Thursday. This is Friday. I went to the show on Sunday. Thursday is when I saw Malignant. This was the day after I saw Malignant. I was talking at work about what I did the previous day.
But you've already been to the live recording of How Did This
Yes,
Get Made?
I'm getting to it. It's literally the next part of the story.
Okay, I didn't know if you were talking. You were doing like an aside thing, but I wasn't sure.
No,
if you were
it's
in the
build
present
up.
or if
It's
you
build
were
up
in
to the actual story.
Okay.
This is all needed build up to the story of the How Did This Get Made show.
Okay.
So, they go to the How Did This Get Made show. It's pretty funny. They cover Morbius. I was told by Jason and Paul not to say anything because it's a secret between us, and whatever they want to know will be in the recording. I presume this is just a bit they do at every one of their live shows. But anyway, but what does happen at one point is they're like, we're going to go to the bathroom. Well, Jason's like, I got to go to the bathroom. And then Paul's like, do you know who I'm talking about with this? Do I need to give their full names?
No, I don't know anything about the show.
Oh,
I mean,
well,
I
it's
know
Jason
the name
Mantzoukas.
of the show, but I don't know anything
Jason
about it.
Mantzoukas, Paul Sheeran, June Diane Raphael, I think. But I presume you know who Jason Mantzoukas is. That's
I do. I saw him live.
I did too. This podcast recording. I did too yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, Jason's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So Paul's like, all right, well, we're gonna play a clip of one of our a show we did recently, and you guys can pick like by applause-o-meter what we're gonna just all like collectively laugh at right now. And on the board is Malignant, and I'm immediately like, oh no, I'm not prepared to be in this crowd of people who hate Malignant. And then Malignant gets second place. I'm just like, I tense up so much when Malignant's doing so well. Because I'm like, I just like, I'm sorry, I'm tired of defending movies that I like. And I don't want to be in that crowd doing people laughing at Malignant because they think it's a bad movie. Because everyone there who just watches How Does This Get Made thinks Malignant's just a bad movie. Because they just kind of, I presume most people who like How Does This Get Made, because did not look like film bro people or like film people like I am. They looked more like, like the general audience is like, oh yeah, this is a comedy show about bad movies. Which is fair, like, good, I like them too. Like, I think they're funny. My issue is I just didn't want to be a crowd of people laughing at the movie. But it's okay, because they all voted for just a montage of Jean-Claude Van Damme's butt. So, we were okay.
Fun.
Yeah.
So how did you make the journey from hearing the Malignant take from your friend, coworker, to getting the ticket to the live show?
I had the ticket already. I had a ticket like earlier this week. I was waiting on my brother actually because my brother said he might watch Morbius beforehand and go with me, but they ended up not watching it in time. So
you've seen Morbius. Do you recommend it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I do think it's funny. The one thing I will say about the show is that they're bragging on social media. This was their longest show yet, and they said that to us too. And yes, the show was 3 hours long, but 40 minutes of it was them interviewing every single person in the audience who dressed up for Halloween. So it was not like, there was about 40 minutes of it where I just kind of was like, all right, can we please get back to like what the show is? Like, but yeah.
Yeah, I read your review of Morbius. I'm very disappointed that there is not more good in it because I don't know. I don't want to spoil your review for people if you want people to go on your Letterboxd.
I don't care. I'm actually really happy with Letterboxd right now, but I'll tell you why after I tell you this one story about Morbius there, which is, I hate to be like this thing where it's like the funniest part of the show is when they just showed a clip, because the funniest part of the show to me was when they're like, we have this clip that you might not have seen, and I hadn't seen, of House of the Dragon. It's like a press junket. And it goes up, and it's Matt Smith with Patty Considine going. Matt Smith's just like, the interviewer's like, so, what do you think about It's Morbin Time? And Patty's like, what is that? And Matt Smith just looks so embarrassed. It's like, oh, it's a movie I did. He's like, oh, really? What was it about? And you can just see the life go out of Matt Smith's eyes when Patty just starts asking him about Morbius. It's just so good. The other funny thing.
Can I look that up? I might tab that up for later.
Yeah, I think it was from I think it was at Comic-Con. I think it was because I remember at Comic-Con someone asked Matt Smith if it was Morbin Time, and he just immediately was like, no. Just moved right on. I will also say the other embarrassing moment of the thing, even though I think it wasn't really embarrassing. I don't think no one called me out on it, so it wasn't too embarrassing. But like people always cheer at stuff at these type of shows. And like, like they'll say like, oh, it's this movie, and then people will cheer that movie, or like it's this actor from this movie, and they'll cheer. And Jason Mantzoukas goes, I keep referring to Morbius's love interest as Bix from Andor. And let me tell you, Andor's really good. So I just started cheering. I was the only person in the entire theater cheering for Andor. But Andor's good, y'all, and you should check it out.
Did they acknowledge that you were the only person cheering?
I'm glad they didn't. I was like, why are more people cheering for this? Andor rules. But I guess is
Andor the name of a planet or a person?
Andor is the planet. Andor is Diego Luna's character, Cassian Andor.
So it's both?
No, Andor is the character in the name of the show. Endor is the planet that is in Return of the Jedi.
All right.
Also, only thing I was going to say...
I don't want to be a hater.
Only thing I was going to say...
Right off the bat.
The only thing I was going to say about Letterboxd, which should transition to you, is that, knock on wood, I might be finally having a movie overtake my Batman review as my most liked review of the year, which is thankful because I don't really like my Batman review being my most liked review of the year. It's too positive. And I don't know if I told you this before or not, but it looks like Wendell and Wild is going to overtake it. And I'm like, good. Wendell and Wild was better than Batman. Did you finish Wendell and Wild?
No.
It's Halloween!
Yeah, I watched Morocco.
Why'd you do that and not finish Wendell and Wild?
Because I had an itch to scratch, and I felt like I needed to watch something that would, like, make my life better.
Well, you could have listened to our Stuff Club podcast where we explicitly say, this movie's not that great.
No, it's not. Mm-hmm. I was really amazed. But I also think, having watched it, it's not that great, and I feel weird about people liking it. But I also think that it's something that I actually think that you should watch it despite it not being great.
I already saw it.
I think it's one of those movies. Yeah, I know that you've already seen it.
Oh, you're saying you as in the general
you.
You're saying
the general you. I think that, like, even though Morocco is not... I don't want to say it's not a good movie, because I think people, like, really do like Morocco, but it is something that you should know exists, and you should watch it for, I don't know, to get things out of it. I'm really baffled by how much I think Morocco sucked.
Well, we none of us liked it on our podcast. I think I gave it the nicest review at 3 out of 5, where I'm like, I guess I can appreciate this historically, but it's kind of blah. Yeah. I like the Marlene Dietrich dance scene. That's good.
This isn't even the one with the Marlene Dietrich dance scene. I'm baffled by that too, because it's not the one where she dresses up as a monkey. That's another film. I was disappointed that this was not that film, but she just kind of walks around and then she kisses a woman while dressed as a man. And that's kind of all you need to know about Morocco, is that it exists.
I mean, I don't think it's good. It sucks.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. It's like, the movie is like, it's almost like they're saying the lines from another movie in the scene. Like, they're quoting Morocco while doing the movie Morocco. It's just like, in no scenes do any characters, like, interact with each other. And it's like there are such long pauses during everything. I don't know.
It's old. Give it some credit. It's old.
I can't even engage with it in that jokey way. I have to know why people talk about Morocco.
It's like the M. Night Shyamalan movie, Old.
Is Old slow and weird?
Have you not seen Old?
No.
Dude, that's your Halloween movie. Old is great.
I didn't finish The Sixth Sense.
Who cares? Old is good.
And I think from clips I've seen of Signs, it doesn't look very good.
The end of Old is not good. Like, the last 10 minutes isn't good. But
I know how it ends.
Up until those 10 minutes, it's really great.
The last thing I watched all the way through was Barbarian. I didn't even watch Morocco all at once.
Although I guess we shouldn't really, like... I feel like Barbarian is like the rare type of movie where I'd want to talk around what happens in it, because I do think it's a good movie to go in blind. But what did you think of Barbarian?
I liked it. The only reason I saw it is because I read the synopsis. But, I mean, that's me. I'm kind of annoyed by things wasting my time lately. I feel like that's a really broad thing to say. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of movies lately where it just feels unnecessary to watch them all the way through.
Okay, is that why you're not finishing Wendell and Wild?
It's we already talked about, like, why it's not great.
It is
on
great, though.
Last week's episode.
And I remember saying, well, I'll talk to you more when you finish it. I feel very attacked by you not finishing. No, I'm kidding.
I don't care. If people like it, that's fine. I'm not really getting anything out of it, so I don't know if I'll finish it. But Barbarian, it's not like Barbarian changed my life, but it's paced in such a way where I watched it all in one go, and that really is what I want lately. So I'll say that for Barbarian. If you like horror movies and all of that, and I guess we shouldn't really talk about what happens in Barbarian, but Barbarian, I'll just say, is like, it's all I want for something. If it just wants to be a fun horror movie, that's all it is, and it is a fine example of that, and it's just fun. That's all.
Nice. All right. Shall we
do some games?
Yeah. I'm going first. It's the Letterbox game. Letterbox has a feature that has it, so it tells you the most algorithmically related films to the film you just watched. This game is, I take there's 3 rounds. There's 3 films. Mark has to guess what film it is. I'll give him 5 films first. After 2 guesses, he gets the year, and then he gets 2 more additional films per guess, and then he loses. Mark, before the podcast, randomly picked 3 numbers, and then I have now ordered those numbers from most popular to least popular according to Letterboxd, so we will start with the most popular and with the least popular, so it will get presumably harder as we go on. All right?
Presumably.
Yeah, we'll see.
I like that little effect, but yeah, it is presumably.
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Your 5 films are, for your round 1, is Monster House, The Polar Express, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Note that I said Charlie, not Willie. This is the Tim Burton one. Spirited Away, and The Secret of Nim. Is that how you say it? Nymph? I don't know. I've never seen it.
I think it's Nim. Is it Wendell and Wild?
No, it is not Wendell and Wild.
Is it... Oh, now I'm forgetting if you already mentioned this creator, but it doesn't matter. Was it Hocus Pocus 2?
No, and for the record, neither Hocus Pocus 2 or Wendell and Wild are in the top 25. So the year the film came out is 2009. Is
it the film 9, directed by Tim Burton?
Oh, that movie is not directed by Tim Burton. It's directed by, I think, Timur Bekmambetov.
Is that another one where it's not actually Tim Burton?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not 9, and 9 is not in the top 25. So now you get the next film. The next film you get is Kubo and the Two Strings.
This might not even be a horror animation. This might just be something out in the world.
Remember that this is the most popular of the 3 you're gonna get.
Yeah. So, 2009... Coraline?
It is Coraline.
Yep. Wahoo! Okay.
The last film you would have got is My Neighbor Totoro.
Cool.
Coraline is good. Not as good as Wendell and Wild. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. Wow, we're so much more like, all right, let's go. There's no guests here for us to joke around with. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, no, I mean, I thought about that. I was like, oh, another nice thing with us. And then we just kind of complained about movies for 10 minutes. And now I feel confident in the Letterboxd game.
All right.
What's some good vibes? Hold on. Okay, give me the next one. I'll try to inject some good vibes into this round of the Letterboxd.
Okay, round 2. Black Panther. 300.
Great, I love Black Panther.
300.
Cool.
Gladiator.
Oh, yeah.
Mongol, The Rise of Genghis Khan.
The Rise of who?
Genghis Khan.
Okay, great.
This is a Russian film by Sergei Bodrov. Anyway.
I don't know either of them. Is there one more?
Yeah, there is. I was just looking. Oh, this guy ended up directing. Do you remember the Jeff Bridges bomb Seventh Son with Julianne Moore?
I don't remember.
It's a January movie. He's also a 2-time Oscar nominee for screenwriting. Oh, and the last film is Lincoln.
Okay. A biopic, except for Black Panther. That's kind of an outlier.
Is 300 a biopic?
Well, I should say like historical epic, I guess. biopic is a misstatement, but it should be some kind of historical epic, and Black Panther is on there. Was it well, it can't be. I'm sure that Coraline is not more popular than Avatar.
We also
So it's
already
not
did Avatar on the show, and we don't do any repeats.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure if it's like a dream that I had or something like that.
Okay.
Did you watch The New World, the Terrence Malick film?
No, I did not. And interestingly enough, The New World is not in the top 25. Give me another guess.
All right. Historical epic,
Curious if
less popular than Coraline. It's kind of hard to imagine something that would have like a big budget than that, like that, but then be less popular than Coraline. Is it Darkest Hour? The Gary Oldman vehicle.
No, it is not Darkest Hour. Darkest Hour is not in the top 25. The year this film came out is 2022.
Oh, great. The Woman King?
Yes, this is The Woman King.
Which
is why Black Panther's in there. Because it's based off the real-life people who inspired the Dora Milaje. So.
Surprised you haven't revisited Darkest Hour.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. All right. You ready for the final round? The hardest round. All right.
I am ready.
Beverly Hills Cop. Super Troopers. The Other Guys. Game Night. And The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad.
Bad Boys.
It's not Bad Boys. Bad Boys is not in the top 25.
Did you finally watch the Police Story trilogy?
Well, you'd have to pick one Police Story movie. You
okay,
can't just
I
guess
pick.
All
well, this is evil. All right, I'll just pick the first Police Story.
No, Police Story is not in the top 25. This film is from 1985.
I mean, was it Police Story 2?
No, it is not Police Story 2. The next film you get is Starsky and Hutch.
I want to say Police Story 3, but I don't. It's not that. It's cop comedy from 1985. Lethal Weapon?
It is not Lethal Weapon. And does not look like Lethal Weapon's in the top 25, which kind of surprises me. Alright, so I'll give you your final film, then I'll recap for listeners at home. Your final film is the Baywatch movie with The Rock. So, it's a film from 1985. The 7 familiar films are Beverly Hills Cop, Super Troopers, The Other Guys, Game Night, The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad, Starsky and Hutch, and Baywatch.
It's weird that Game Night is there.
I don't know why Game Night's there either, honestly. Knowing the movie, I'm kind of used to it too.
1985. That was our whole last episode, was us not knowing what happened in 1985 around that time. Anyway.
We just hit the wall. Only been with one man. What happened to
The problem is if I cut any of this, they'll know.
That's what this is like my new this is the Jeopardy. This is the Jeopardy TikTok version of it. But yeah, I have to get through all of 1985 before you guess.
That's that should be our timer, is you singing that song louder and louder. But like when we have guests on. Was it Terminator?
Original Terminator? No, Terminator is not in the top 25. Now you get a bonus hint! Is that I had to remove one film.
Police Story 4.
It's not a Police Story movie. And Mark, I have a question for you before I answer this, which is, do you have Paramount Plus or Showtime?
No.
Oh, because if you did, I would recommend a new reboot of a classic 80s comedy. And the reboot is titled Confess Fletch. And I watched the original Fletch.
Oh, I would not
Chevy
have guessed
Chase.
Fletch.
I removed the Fletch, not the John Hamm one, because that's not on here yet. I removed Fletch Lives. That's what I got. That's what I got this week is Fletch, Coraline, and The Woman King.
Okay, so this week on the Game of Lists, which is a game where I go online and I find a list of movies and then I ask questions about it. I wanted to pick something that was very difficult because
God.
it's just us now.
Great.
So I'm going to try to make it a little manageable, but I wanted to pick something that was more out there because it's just the two of us. So I thought about a number of ways to do this. I've kind of nixed a lot of my ideas for Game of Lists prompts, and but because of free association, I'm going to ask you about Tilda Swinton's favorite movies.
Okay.
So
okay, all right. Sure.
Why not? I don't remember how I got here or whatever. Oh, well, I know what it was. Originally, I wanted to ask about Guillermo del Toro's favorite movies that he submitted to the Sight and Sound.
Guillermo del Toro, don't get me started on him.
Well, I mean, I just thought they were too easy.
I'm getting annoyed.
What? Why?
Because everyone's hyping this Pinocchio movie, and I'm just like, Netflix had 2 better-looking animated movies this fall, and everyone just wants to push the Pinocchio one because it's got a non-animation director behind it. I was more excited for Wendell and Wild, and I'm more excited for My Father's Dragon.
Wendell and Wild was not on the front page of Netflix when I first wanted to get on and watch it that day.
Should be arrested. Because you know what's in front of it? The Guillermo del Toro show. He only wants it. No, I'm kidding. Guillermo del Toro is actually very supportive of animation. I shouldn't go after him like this. But
yeah, I'm so surprised.
I just don't think the Pinocchio movie looks that good. I know it has great reviews, and I know I'll probably see it, but I don't think it looks that good.
He was too mainstream for our no guest episode, so we're doing Tilda Swinton. This comes from an interview she gave with Far Out magazine 2 years ago. So, Tilda Swinton's 11 favorite films of all time. 3 of them are by the same director. They are by a Scottish director, and they came out in the 70s. Can you name any of these films, or the director, or the collective title of this trilogy of films?
Oh, it's a trilogy.
Yes.
I have no idea. I'll go with the Michael Apted 7-Up series, even though I don't think those all came out in the same decade. I don't know if he's
I think that's a fine guess because you sort of used the prompts that I gave you. But this is a trilogy that I've never heard of. It's the Bill Douglas trilogy.
Great, Mark. I've never heard of it either. I'm glad.
Well, I don't know.
I'm glad you blindsided. You're like, oh, I'm definitely gonna get Danny on this one. It's an answer I don't even know.
Yeah, I wanted to get you because today was, as I was like, I watched Morocco today and I had an educational day. And I want to bring that into the podcast.
Whatever.
So, Bill Douglas made a trilogy of films in the 70s about growing up in Scotland, and they sound really cool. I might find them at some point. They're just called the Bill Douglas trilogy. It's about a kid, and they're very poetic. And I think she has a quote about them. The masterpiece that is Bill Douglas's autobiographical trilogy, a proper Scottish cultural treasure. I once heard that Scots politicians took it abroad with them as their diplomatic gift. If that's not true, it's certainly an idea.
Great, Tilda. We love you, but also... I mean, I'm sure they're great films. I trust her.
I'm sorry that you had to get got, but I think it's important that people know about this
I should have
group
said
of films that I've never heard about.
Like Trick. Here you go.
Trick. Well, we'll move from Trick to Treat, because I think these will get easier. Well, no, they won't, but whatever. She names 2 films by Yasujiro Ozu in her top 11. What are they?
Tokyo Story, Good Morning. The only 2 Ozu movies I can think of on the top of my head.
Close. Tokyo Story and I Was Born But.
Oh, I was very close because I Was Born What is the...
It's his other kid movie.
No, I Was Born But... Isn't it silent? I believe I Was Born What... I think Good Morning is a sound remake of I Was Born But.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was pretty close.
There you go.
I haven't seen I have the Criterion of Good Morning, which has I Was Born on it. I just haven't seen it.
Tilda Swinton said, Ozu's brief wee silent masterpiece about childhood, brotherhood, and learning how to negotiate fathers and learn the rules of the game. Nice.
Forks.
All right. Last question. And I do think this will actually be the easiest one. What is the most recent film she included on her list? And
is she in it?
This is no, but
okay,
she did collaborate. I believe she collaborated with this director recently.
I'll go with The World Tenenbaums.
No. Try again. This is a famous indie title.
Lost in Translation?
No. It is Uncle Boonme Who Can Recall His Past
Oh.
Lives, directed by a Pitch It Pong.
When you said
Eurocyclical.
indie, I immediately went, okay, so I'm right. I'm on the right continent,
Wes
and
Anderson's
I'm not.
not indie just because his films are.
No, I meant when you say indie, and I'm like, oh, it's a Wes Anderson movie. I immediately go, okay, so who's another person that like American like early mumblecore movement or whatever we want to call the 2000s indie scene? Not like, oh yeah, I'm definitely thinking of like I'm not thinking international at all when I think of Wes Anderson. You're like, no, you're close, so I'm gonna get something else that's not.
Did I say close? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you said close. It's another indie director. So I'm like, okay, who's kind of similar to Wes Anderson?
I'm sorry. All right, that's the game of lists. Some titles for you all. Yay!
Great. You should watch Fletch. No, I'm kidding.
No. You should watch Tokyo Story.
I should watch
and I'll
Tokyo
find
Story.
the Bill Douglas trilogy. I'll just give you this whole list because it's an interesting one.
Have I seen any
I was
of them?
born,
We'll
but
see.
I Was Born But, Journey to Italy by Roberto Rossellini, La Belle et la Bête by Jean Cocteau, M by Fritz Lang, Medea by Pier Paolo Pasolini. The Bill Douglas trilogy consists of My Childhood, My Ein Folk, and My Way Home, and then Stranger by the Lake, Alain Guiraudy. Oh,
Isn't
which is
that more
actually
recent?
2013. Yeah, you're
that's
right.
more
Sorry.
recent. I wouldn't have guessed it, but I think that's more. I know when that movie came out.
Yes. And then Tokyo Story, and then Uncle Boonme Who Can Recall His Past Lives.
I haven't seen a single one of Tilda's movies that she likes. I've seen plenty of Tilda movies. Where's
What?
Doctor
You've seen a lot of this-
Strange?
You haven't seen M?
No.
Oh, I like M.
Yeah, I think it's better when Judi Dench played it than Ryan Fiennes.
R.I.P.
Dude, now if Judi Dench dies between the time we record this podcast and you put it up, it's gonna be really awkward.
She's not going anywhere.
We said that about the Queen. You remember what happened?
It's not because... I don't think we did say that. I
I don't
you're,
think we did
you're
either.
telling fibs.
I don't think we recorded it. No. Yeah.
We have an... whatever.
The listeners don't know what you cut out. Maybe every week I say someone's gonna die. Maybe I'm Death Note.
Well, shall we talk about this DVD extra?
Yeah, I guess I should intro it. I didn't even open the Wikipedia page because I don't think it has a Wikipedia. It might have a page on the Pixar Wiki. But this is Exploring the Reef with Jean-Michel. Oh, it does have a Wikipedia page.
Jean-Michel Cousteau.
Jean-Michel Cousteau. Yeah, which, by the way, when I said last week it was Jacques Cousteau, I did not realize Jacques Cousteau was actually his father. So I was pretty close. This is about Jean-Michel Cousteau trying to make a documentary about the coral reefs. Unfortunately, Dory, Marlin, and Nemo keep interrupting him when he's just trying to show off the animals. It's the whole plot.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. Well, let me phrase. I don't think it's good, but I think it's good for what it is. That's how I'll put it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... It is what it is. It's like a nature documentary, and then they animate Marlin and Dory and Nemo over the footage.
Best part is when Marlin's
with the narrator.
like, hey, why don't I dance? Even though he literally has never danced at any other form of Finding Nemo media. But he's like, let's have a dance party. I appreciate just the sheer audacity. Be like, our books, why don't you record a couple stuff for the DVD extra? He's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do something. They're like, all right, we want you to say, let's have a dance party. He's like, all right. Like my Albert Brooks impression?
Yeah, that was really good.
Thanks.
I thought he was in the room with us.
Yeah, no problem.
So did this challenge the way you think about, narrative objectivity or anything like that?
It did get me thinking about... Actually, there's something to seriously talk about here, and then I want to talk about some more goofy stuff that is related to this short. But I think there was one big aspect of Finding Nemo's culture impact that we did not touch on in our last episode, which is that, to this day, and probably until long after we are dead, when you go to aquariums still exist. When you go to an aquarium, you see a blue tang fish, kids will go, hey, it's Dory! Or if you go look at the clownfish, they'll be like, it's Nemo! And that's what I was thinking about when I was watching this, when I see Dory swimming alongside the actual blue tanks. Because that's so true, you know, like kids, like, you know, as someone who
Yeah.
works with kids, and I go to the aquarium, I'll be like, and again, I do this more of a joke. I'll be like, hey, look, I found Dory, or hey, look, I found Nemo. But also, just as a fact, if you're with a little kid and they were at the aquarium, they run up to they're like, Dory, you know, because they don't know the names of these fish. They might know the name of clownfish, but even then they'll go like Nemo because they know who Nemo is more.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the big thing at the bottom of Finding Nemo's Wikipedia article where they say that the film created this great demand for these fish and destroyed the ecosystems, which I was thinking about a lot while watching this short about protecting the natural world.
If we can tangent that way, because there was something I wanted to mention in that episode that was very important to my... What?
Never mind. If we can tangent that way.
Well...
That seemed more like a purposeful bit than whatever. Go on.
Well, I did not bring this up in our last episode for a variety of reasons. One, we recorded it really late at night. We had a guest, and I did not need to go down that road with them now, because it's a long story. But guess what? I knew this was coming up, so I knew I'd have a chance to. And Mark has just led me there, which is, I'm sure if you read that part of the Wikipedia page where, you know, everyone bought... No, it's not only they all wanted the clownfish. What also they did was, kids were like, oh my gosh, I need to free my fish. And they'd flush them down the toilet, right? And, you know...
Oh, yeah.
And there was, like, you know, a lot of people, like, several different organizations come out, like, including, like, pet owners associations, and Pixar itself was like, do not flush your fish. It is fiction in the movie. Nemo would have actually been grinded up. Now, like, you know, grinded up in the water treatment plant.
Okay.
Now, this is the tangent part, which is that phrase stuck with me for quite some time, to the point where when I was in high school and I was in speech and debate, and there was an event. Did you ever do speech and debate, or are you aware of speech and debate? You were homeschooled.
I'm aware of it. I didn't... What?
You were homeschooled.
I was homeschooled.
I'm just flat out lying this episode the entire time. Mark was homeschooled.
No, I think I feel like I was in speech and debate very briefly, but I don't think I, like, did any competitions or whatever.
So, this is gonna be a long tangent. But you know what? It's an important part of my origin story. It really honestly is. I think this is the origin story of the first time I realized I wasn't all that. This is where, like, my confidence was shattered. But, and don't worry, we'll come back to Nemo. It will come back to Nemo in a big way. Which is that when I was in high school, I did speech and debate, and so did my brothers. My brothers did debate. I did speech. I really was kind of pushing the speech. I enjoyed a lot of it. I did the acting one, so I did, like, duo. I did, like, drama and humor. I was not good at humor because humor requires you to, like, pop into different character modes very quickly, and I've just never been able to control my body like that. But I was pretty good at drama. But my goal, my senior year, like anyone's goal in speech and debate, is to go to nationals. Now, to me, this was very important because my older brother had gone to nationals in debate. My younger brother had not yet gone to nationals because he was a sophomore that year, but the entire year he was winning every single debate tournament in his, like, competition. So it was, like, pretty much a done deal that he was going to qualify. So I was like, I cannot have my younger brother qualify. Well, I mean, no, like, and me not be there. You know, like, I have to qualify because if I don't, I'm the only person in my family who's a loser, right? That was my mindset on it. And my big thing that year was drama. Now, pin that. We will go back to my drama in a bit. Now, a couple years prior, actually I think the year before I came to school, the Indiana added a new event. They added several new events. One of them was called Original Performance, which is where you wrote your own 10-minute short play kind of thing, and you played all the characters in it. I think my first year I wrote this really bad one about someone who was, like, addicted to the internet. But then, that was the summer that Magic Mike came out. And the title popped in my head, which was just Grinding Nemo. But about Nemo becoming a stripper.
I'm on board.
And I always had this long joke pitch about grinding Nemo because it was obvious. Like I could, even though I thought it was a good, I did always think it was like this could be a fun little thing to do. I would never do it because Indiana judges are conservative, so I'm pretty sure as soon as you walk up there, it's like the title of my selection is Grinding Nemo, and then you open it and it's just like Chippendale dance. No, not Chippendale dancing. Like doing a stripper pole on stage. As soon as you do that, then I'm really gonna be like, absolutely not. No. But I always had it in the back of my head as like a joke suggestion. Okay? So that year I did an OP about the internet. It sucked. The next year, I think I tried again with an OP. I can't remember what I did that year. But that followed. So that was my junior year. Okay, my junior year, I kind of expected to qualify for nationals. I was like an alternate. I didn't go. So at the end of the year, they have you do this special, your own performance to prep for next year. Okay, that's what it is. It's the idea is you're prepping something for next year. So me and my friend Justin decided, because we didn't actually want to do this either. We just thought the whole thing was frustrating because it was like, why, like, we both thought we should have qualified, right? Like, we were both like, this is dumb. We're here. We're juniors. We shouldn't be stuck here doing this. And we just want to do something fun. So what we did, and my partner, Aaliyah, was really good friends with me and Justin. And we all had this idea. And Aaliyah was a senior who was also an alternate in both. So she was more mad than I was. We had this idea that we cut down The Emperor's New Groove into a 10-minute speech piece, which made everyone in our class laugh. But our teacher, who had not seen the movie, was just like, what? like, what is going on the stage? And obviously I was Yzma in that that piece.
Mm-hmm.
So, back to my senior year. I really want to qualify. My piece is Wonder, which is eventually adapted into the Jacob Tremblay movie, where he's the kid with the facial deformity. And I'm not actually doing that great all season. I'm doing pretty bad the whole season. Then we get thrown on an OP, which is my friend Olivia and I are told, why don't you do something where Danny has a disability and you're his sister, and like Olivia's my sister, and you guys reconnect after not knowing you had Olivia doesn't know she has a brother. And it's like, we came up with something we kind of really liked. I had cerebral palsy in it, which is not great in retrospect, but it was Indiana College and Indiana High School. But it was very specific. Like, I didn't want to do a speech impediment. I didn't want to do any type of I didn't want to do a vocal disability really. And I didn't want to give a real mental disability to it. I wanted to give it to I wanted to be someone who just could not move. Understand? And,
yes.
And we really liked it. We thought it was really good. We took it to a tournament. We were getting pretty good scores with the exception that we weren't memorized yet, which is fine. Like, we expected to be marked down. We were just looking for feedback on the writing. However, since we were on, since we did not have it memorized, we were put on the B team, which meant that our head coach, Mr. Kelly, could judge us. And unfortunately, he did judge us. And he gave us the worst possible note. Because a note from him means we have to do it, which is, I think it'd be better if Danny was mentally disabled than physically disabled. I think this would be a stronger piece. And we're like, no, the whole point of this is that we're tired of seeing people do mental disabilities on stage. We're so tired of it. And we did it once, we hated it, and then we're like, never again. We just threw it out. We threw out the OP. We threw it out. So then I went back to Wonder. Because the thing with Wonder was, I did do a speech impediment in Wonder because his face is deformed. But he, you've seen the movie, right? Or you know what the movie is, right? You don't know the movie?
Yeah, I know what it's about.
Okay.
I haven't seen the movie.
It's okay. The movie's fine. If you read the book, it's a good book. It's a good movie. And I read the book, so I like the movie. But I don't know if I'd ever recommend it to anyone who hasn't been in the book. Anyway. So I started getting really, real on it last month. Partially because, a bit of drama went down between me and my main competitor who was at my own school. But also because, again, I just really did not want to be a loser. I didn't want to be the only person in my family not to qualify. And at sectionals, I found out I got really good scores, but the issue was I went 4 minutes over time. So I did not qualify at state. So what we did the next week is I was in the speech room for 4 hours every afternoon, cutting it and reworking it until it was finally like really good. And I was working with Mr. Kelly because I said Mr. Kelly was our head coach. He was really good. And he was like, Danny, you got to get, like, he kept on going the entire year. He's like, you have to be really real about this. And then in the last week, I finally did get real. And like, anyway, I qualified for the final round at districts. I was told, and honestly, I blame the fact that I was told this. I was still going into the final round. I had only gotten 1s and 2s the whole day. So first or second place is the whole day. Which to me is good, because the thing is that I know one person ahead of me is Justin, who, if you might remember from earlier in my speech and debate tales, is the person I did the Emperor's New Groove thing with. But that year, he did a duo piece that was sweeping everywhere. So the fact was, he was going to go in his duo over his drama no matter what. So even if he won drama, all I need to do was get 3rd place, right? That was my only thing in my mind. I was like, I have to get 3rd place. Because if I get second, it doesn't matter if I get 1st or 2nd if Justin's there, because he doesn't count. He's just competing for fun, really. So basically, I bombed my final round really bad. I go 3 minutes over, and I miss qualifying.
Out of how many? How long are these pieces?
It's supposed to be 10 minutes.
Okay.
I bomb and I miss the spot by 1 spot. And I lose it to the person who I was having a ton of drama with at that time. And I just broke down on stage. And it was really rough. Really bad. And then of course also, because drama was going on, I had to eventually actually go be nice to the person who I was having drama with. Because otherwise people were like, wow, she took Danny's spot because she's a junior and he's a senior. And it was coach was like, all right, Danny, we understand you're upset. You gotta still congratulate her. I'm like, I will, and I did. It's just, and I think that whole drama is an entire different story that I don't want to get into right now, because I definitely behaved wrongly in a lot of it. I think she behaved wrongly in a lot of it too. But also, we all forgave each other a long time ago, and it does not matter. She's married now with children. All this to say, 2 weeks after an embarrassing failure, where I started entering a deep depression, where I felt like I sucked, and I was the worst person ever, I was told by the speech coach that even though I was a senior, I have to do an end-of-year project. And I'm just like, excuse me? Why? Because I'm not going to be here next year. They're like, oh, well, we just want you to cut something. So that way we have something for, someone who comes in next year. And I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I wrote Grinding Nemo instead.
You arrived. How did that go?
It went pretty well. Everyone seemed at the end of it, every student was laughing at it, but you could just see all of the teachers in the back just being like, ugh. Even the younger teachers were just annoyed that I did this. But I was just like, I don't care. I'm a senior, and this is stupid that I was forced to do an extra assignment because I didn't qualify. And I'm in depression. I'm in a depression right now, so I don't care. I'm gonna write this bizarrely raunchy thing about Nemo becoming a stripper and flirting with Barbie, who fell to the bottom of the ocean. I can't remember who my bad guy was. I'm pretty sure it was the Barbie and Ken from Toy Story 3 were a part of the plot pretty heavily in it. And yeah, it was a nice little stripper odyssey with cocaine and stuff. It was, I should try to find it. I would probably be really buried in my drive, or it would be on my old computer at my parents' house. But Grinding Nemo, it exists, and someday I will find it. I'll just search very quickly my email address that I've had for, since middle school.
I'm sad that you purposefully didn't write a 2-person scene, because I would love to do a dramatic reading of Grinding Nemo.
I mean, it was a lot of characters. Let me see if I can find it. It is in here from oh no, there's a tweet about mine. Is this it? I think I just found the document from an email from May 9, 2014. Let me find it. Do we want to do a live dramatic reading on this podcast?
How long is it?
Or should that be like a bonus episode whenever we need a bonus episode?
I think this is a bonus episode. I don't know if...
Oh, I have other stuff to talk about with the film.
I
do have other stuff to talk about with the film.
Oh, well, we should probably try to do that. I mean, because I don't like dislike Exploring the Reef with Jean-Michel Cousteau, but I do think that, like...
Me debating, going into my speech in the very fast is more interesting.
Well, no, not that. I just... It's kind of more interesting to me. I don't want to say that it's... I don't know. That my favorite... Let's talk a little bit about the DVD extra.
If you want to start, you can. I do want to check to see if this is the file. So you can start talking.
Oh, well,
I'm opening the file right now to see if it is the file.
I'm trying to get you to yes and me because I have nothing to say about it.
I have stuff to say, but I want to see what the file is.
My one thing that I like about it is that he says, "Oh no, this would have never happened to Papa," when he's upstaged by fish.
I do have it. I have it. Sorry. Sorry, this is exciting. I thought I lost this.
Make me care about this short film.
Hold on, I want to see how many pages this is.
Am I in a depression?
I don't know. Maybe it's because of Grinding Nemo. Now you're like, oh my god, Danny, that was brilliant.
I'm so entranced by...
It's 7 pages.
The potential of Grinding Nemo.
Although, really,
Single
space? It's really more like 6 pages because the first page is the outline.
Mm.
Do I want me to read the outline? I can read the outline dramatically right now.
I want to do something.
Can we read the outline at the end?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's talk about
this reminds me of SpongeBob.
Film.
That is what the short reminds me of, is SpongeBob.
Yes. I think SpongeBob is more based on the silent world, which this is also kind of based on, but I think SpongeBob would go back further than that. Because, I mean, they're both kind of doing the same thing, and SpongeBob, I think, is even earlier.
SpongeBob is 1999.
Yeah.
And this is 03, I believe, for the DVD, maybe 04. I didn't look when the DVD came out. I presume it came out in 03, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know if we'll see or not, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, it did come out in 03. It's
I presume it was
because
a
I'm
Christmas
looking
DVD.
at Roger Gould's IMDb page, and he's got some awards for the DVD, which came out in 2003.
Good for him. But yeah. Okay. So this reminds me of SpongeBob because of I'm not talking really about like, I'm talking about more the live action animation combination, you know, and like how, you know, we have the French narrator here, and I understand that Jean-Michel Cousteau is a real person, but I feel like the French narrator in SpongeBob is riffing off of Jacques Cousteau anyway, so it's kind of like, oh, all right, so it's kind of like time is a flat circle type of thing. It's like poetry, it rhymes.
I love True Detective.
I've never seen it. Nor have I seen the Star Wars.
From.
I know what it is. I just wanted to be like that. I just wanted to be that funny. I don't know what that is. Even though I do know what it is. But I just think it's you know, it's got like that weird SpongeBob again with like the singing, like the dance number that's random, or even like the "My name is Jean-Michel Cousteau." Dun 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 dun. Like always playing.
I think that's a good joke.
It's great just also because the characters react so well to it.
I do think it's admirable having something like this on the DVD because there are so many things. This seems very familiar to me that there's something on the DVD that takes you to some website where you can learn more, and this ends with the Ocean Futures website, which still exists, and you can learn about what's going on with that organization now still. I like it for that. It's nice that it can be that little bridge to that organization.
Yeah. And
it's hard to talk about as a film, though.
Well, no, I also think it's very admirable how at the end of this short, it becomes serious, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that also, like, because I guess, again, I was a child in 03, but this is probably the first time I heard the term global warming, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because at that time, it's still political, and I think it's interesting to have that on the DVD of a Pixar movie, just be like, yeah, global. And the reason I bring that up is because I feel like it, in a way, feels like a precursor to WALL-E, because obviously that's Stanton's next movie, And WALL-E is incredibly obvious where it stands on environmental concerns. And then this is like, yeah, the environment's really important, y'all. And to be clear, to listeners, the environment is important, y'all.
Yeah, Danny's like, I can't believe these leftists.
These leftists.
And their environmental concerns.
Propaganding from the children of 2003. I'm a leftist who was a child in 2003. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know. I guess I don't really have too much to talk about it. I just was like, oh, this reminds me of SpongeBob, and it's nice that it's serious at the end.
Well, I don't want to not yes and that. It's just, it seems on that note, I think that there are, I don't know, I don't see a lot of like anti-environmentalist movies. I can't think of many, you know? Like even Princess Mononoke, which goes out of its way to be complicated, it's still environmental.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if I Googled conservative films and found I could like go through them very quickly and find one that's very like, no, the government needs to have this area to stop these hippies, you know? Like,
I just don't think that anything is most films aren't very political one way or another because they all rely on stereotypes. So even an environmental film will feature
you're
like
going after
weird
Avatar.
hippie.
Oh great! I'm
definitely going after Avatar.
The first thing I found was okay. Should I click this? 10 the best conservative films of 2018 from the National Review. Should we look at this?
You're stealing my content, but yeah, I'm curious now.
All right, so this will be from best to worst, okay? Or I guess from most conservative to least conservative. I'm definitely not gonna. The thing was like, do you want to turn off your ad blocker to support us? I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely.
Is that how it's organized? Most to least conservative? How could that even be?
Well, it's like, these are 10 films that brought conservative concepts to the multiplex in 2018, ranked by conservative firepower. At number 10 is Mary Poppins Returns. At number 9 is...
What? Does it say why?
The film features a brief nod to liberal social justice movements in England, but the film's aesthetics are proudly conservative. There's no attempt whatsoever to make this long-aborting sequel contemporary, hip, or in touch with the fixations of today's youth. Hold on, wait, what? This movie where Lin-Manuel Miranda, raps on a bike? They don't think they tried to appeal to the youth. They might have failed to, but they definitely tried. It's a children's movie for old people, which is... Okay, this is great. It's a children's movie for old people, which is only right because children should learn from the old rather than the other way around. As our critic Sunny Bunch points out, someone on Twitter just points out, it defends the British old caste system by portraying the working class lamplighters and nannies as loyal allies to the upper class layabouts that employ them. Number 9 is The Final Year, which is an HBO movie. I'm gonna skip number 8 for now because I'd like to come back to it. Because number 8 is the reason. Yeah,
you don't have to read all.
Well, number 8 is the reason I opened the article. Number 7 is Vox Lux.
Number 8 will blow your mind.
It's also the picture for the article.
Movie?
What?
Isn't that the Natalie Portman movie?
Yeah. I will say also, it's the number 8 is the picture for the title, which is the clickbait. So, but yeah, number 6
Very
was
smart of you.
Number 6 is The Death of Stalin.
What?
Wait. Number 5.
Read that one.
Okay. But you're going to want me to read number 5 too, I guarantee you. I haven't seen Death of Stalin. This comedy
Death of Stalin is fantastic.
I need to watch it, I know. This comedy about the jockeying for power after the death of the dictator didn't always work, but although it comes from the ardently left-wing Scottish writer-director Armando Iannucci, did I butcher his name or did I get it right?
I mean, you got it as right as anything.
It's one of... Okay, this is dumb. It's one of only a handful of movies to ever explore the internal depravity and absurdity of the Soviet Union. It does have a devastating effect. So number 5 is funnier. Number 5 is first performed.
Okay.
Number 4 is Gosnell, the trial of America's biggest... This is a Dean Cain movie. So this is a conservative film. No, this is like a Daily Wire type of movie, you know. And so is number 3, which is called Little Pink House. And number 2 is the Halloween remake. And number 1 is Chappaquiddick. You ready for number 8?
Yes.
Number 8. Can you give a guess? I think if you're willing to guess,
2018?
like 2018. I think you'll be able to guess this because I said it's a big one, and it's obvious clickbait.
Well, I mean, you know, that's when we were in school, so it's around American Sniper time. But I feel like
that wouldn't be clickbait. People would be like, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah. I'm gonna say the first Trolls movie.
All right. I'm gonna just start reading the description. The new Black Panther movie is a rebuke of the old Black Panthers. As played by Chadwick Boseman and Ryan Coogler, terrifically entertaining and smart blockbuster, the titular superhero personifies a vision where black people work peacefully among others to achieve mutual goals. It's the villain of the piece, Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger, who advocates a sinister combination of African separatism and burnt down Year One utopianism to chilling echoes of... I don't know what this is, and I don't want to say it because I feel like it might be racist. So I'm not going to say what the ending of this is. And also, all this is from the National Review. I do not believe... I think Black Panther is actually...
Danny went ahead and read the outline of Finding Nemo.
I do think Black Panther does have weird politics, but I do not think... I think the ending of the movie makes it pretty clear that T'Challa realizes Killmonger is pretty... like, his... You know what I mean? Like, he's like, yeah, you're right, we shouldn't be isolationist, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it has any weirder politics than any movie with a compelling villain, you know?
Yeah.
It's just kind of how those things are built.
I just like that when I search conservative environment movies, the 2 images that pop up... No, there's 3 images that pop up. One of them is Wall-E, one of them is T'Challa in Black Panther, and the other one is Juno.
Oh, that's why this happened, because you searched for conservative environmental movies.
Yeah, and the first thing that came up was Black Panther. So I'm like, all right, let's see what this is. But yeah.
It's speaking of that, it's honestly, you may not like that Tilda Swinton was your thing today, but
if you hit me with that list, I wouldn't like to die for it.
I mean, that would have... I don't know. I might retire the game of lists and think of something new, because what today almost was the NYT Best Actors list from the 21st century, which is I don't know if no one actually cares, but the top number 1 was Denzel Washington.
Good pick. I like Denzel. I think Denzel's a great pick.
Yeah. Well, I don't. There was a thoughtful comment that was a little like, oh well, like his best. I think it's like his best stuff is kind of like past century.
He still turns out like Fences and like Macbeth. Like, they might not be great movies, but they're great performances. You know. Like,
yeah, I think like altogether, he's definitely like it for the institution of acting. He's way up there.
I hope the rumored PTA collab is real. That'd be very exciting.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, the people that list is actually more of a like look around the world of great actors. So it's a great way to get recommendations for like international movies based on good actors. But the internet was like not a fan of that, because I definitely wanted to choose something which was arbitrary and then would be interesting. But in trying to find trivia about that list, it just took me to like angry conservative people about how diverse it was.
I have to point out something that I just realized. This episode comes out the same day as Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
And I'm going like, wow, these guys are crazy about the original one. Oh. What? No, because I just did the whole thing where it's like, well, because I just did the whole thing about like, apparently it's a conservative film according to these conservatives.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to see it the day it comes out because it'll be full, but I'll see it maybe.
I've got tickets on
this
Thursday
weekend.
night with Julius, so.
Oh, you're really going to see, like, are you seeing it in the crowd you think will be full of clappers, or?
I hope so. But I also, like, you know, I like seeing Marvel movies where people clap. I remember when I saw No Way Home, and actually this was a big debate on my Over podcast, where I talked about how great it was, and Tyler was like, I just find it so disrespectful that people clap during this movie. I just want to hear what they say. I'm like, I'm sorry. If Andrew Garfield enters your movie and then pauses for 3 seconds awkwardly, I think you are supposed to applaud. I don't think his lines matter.
Yeah, I support you on that. That's kind of our old argument with Tyler, is that I think if I go to the theater, this is so weird for me, but if I go to the theater, I actually want people to make noise. I'm sure
when I
mentioned
saw
that in previous episodes.
Well, that's why I had a really great time at Malignant the other day. At the beginning, when they go, like, it's time to cut out the cancer, the entire audience cheered. Actually, you've seen Malignant, right?
Yeah.
Guess the moment.
I don't know. I didn't, like... Well, okay, go on.
Can you guess the moment that got the biggest cheers? It surprised me.
I saw it once, and it didn't really click with me, so I don't know if I could, like... I don't hate it.
I know.
But I also was
goofy.
like... I just like other James Wan movies more.
The moment, do you want me just to tell you, or are you actually gonna guess?
I should watch Insidious tonight. What was the moment?
It's when the woman falls through the roof of the house because she's attached to an exhaust fan that's randomly in the attic. Do you not remember that?
Honestly, that was gonna be my guess. Is when they like find her in the ceiling.
Oh, okay. Because I thought going into it the biggest applause would have been... Although, okay, the second biggest applause was what I expected, which is the reveal of Gabriel. Where it was like...
No, that's too obvious. I knew it wasn't going to be that. I thought maybe a clever second guess would be anytime during the fight scenes, whenever they, like, learn to fight as Gabriel, then they
well, that was like a steady, like, but it wasn't like a huge cheer, you know? Like, it was people applauding throughout. It wasn't like a big, loud roar like it was at these two moments. Also, people of course cheered. You could feel everyone in the audience like get on the edge of their seat, where you hear the main character go like, I just want to be connected to someone's bloodline, and then she goes, what do you mean? And you just feel everyone like lean forward, and then they hear the Sydney, I'm adopted, and everyone just goes, yeah. Because that's the big meme of the movie, was like, that was what it says, like, this is the moment everyone realized what this movie is. Because before that moment, you're like, is this bad? And then as soon as that happens, you're like, oh, okay. Like, this movie is doing something weird. Got it.
Man, do I need to rewatch Malignant? I kind of don't want to without a crowd.
I mean, yeah, you should probably, but there's not going to be a crowd for another year, probably. And even then, you'd have to look really hard for it. The other thing I was going to say about my Malignant crowd very quickly is that there was one guy, so the person who introduces the movie says, please don't make any commentary during this movie. And we got a trailer for their other Halloween programming. One of them is House of 1,000 Corpses, which is there right now. We're recording this on Halloween. They're showing it on 35mm tonight. And this guy goes at the end of the trailer, goes, that didn't look like 35mm to me. And you feel like this general sense of unease in the crowd. But you're like, well, it was just a trailer, so no one's like bothered. And then, like, there's that scene where he's with, at the very beginning of the movie, where, well, not at the very beginning, but, like, Madison is talking to her husband, and her husband's like, maybe you need to stop getting pregnant, which is, like, the only funny line in that scene, because the rest of it is, like, serious domestic violence, but it opens with him going, like, she's like, I'm a little sick, and then he just goes, maybe you should stop getting pregnant. And then I don't remember what happens.
That was discouraged? I thought you went to a rowdy screening.
No, people laughed at that. I don't mind that. The thing is like, I can't remember what line the guy says, but it's like, he goes like, after like he actually beats her up a bit, he goes, you sicken me, or like something like that. And then this guy just goes, well, maybe you should stop getting her pregnant, dumbass. And then everyone in the front, including Sarah, just immediately turns to this guy, like the general direction of this guy just goes, dude, shut up. And then later on, when Gabriel does the big fight and throws the chair and like they recover for a second, you just hear him go, justice served. And we're like, everyone just goes, shut up. Like, we were not having this guy at all. all this to say
I
is
feel
that
that.
yes, I'm seeing Wakanda Forever opening night. I hope I can cheer at moments. And if I don't cheer, I hope I cry, because I do want to cry at that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
We'll have to share our surprise cries from Wakanda Forever.
yeah, maybe when we have a certain guest on, wink, wink, hopium. Let's have some hope.
Who would we have on?
I'm not going to answer because it's in the doc and you can just look at it later. And we don't need to announce it.
Well, we don't have a guest for Wakanda Forever.
We have a guest coming up that would be relevant to talk about Wakanda Forever with. But anyway. We don't have Exploring the Reef. I feel like we've been off it for a bit.
I'm trying to find out who would be. Yeah, what would we give this movie?
I would give it my SpongeBob set of season 2. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing.
I have a bag of French cheese that I got from a job recently, so I'd give it that bag of cheese.
Well, oui.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I want to say this at the end. I didn't hate it. It's just not something that needs to live in my brain.
I mean, yeah, it's
anymore.
like it's an educational video for children. Like,
yeah.
And it's got like enough funny moments to keep the kids engaged, but it is designed for education.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to read the Grinding Nemo outline?
Time? Oh yeah, that's right.
And then we'll say what we're doing next time.
Sure.
All right. Let me open this. Now, if at any point this has something embarrassing, I'll just tell you, cut the entire thing from the episode. All right.
Cut to next week.
The piece opens with Nemo pole dancing. As he dances seductively. You know, wait, before I start this, I will say I don't expect anything controversial in this, besides probably a bit of slut shaming. I feel like that is going to be pretty evident in anything that's from like a high schooler. So I apologize in advance for that, but also acknowledge that I have not opened this file for 8 years. This is from May 2014.
Wow.
The piece opens with Nemo pole dancing. As he dances seductively, he explains how he went through deep introspection at the age of 19, and he found himself having the best talent as a stripper. He got involved at the with the Friends Not Food strip club, where he grinds for a living. He spends his money on a nice reef he's renting, and also on his algae, his favorite substance to abuse, which he gets from his friend, Squirt. He gives all this nice exposition in the teaser, while dancing! Because Speech has a teaser where, like... I should see if I have the intro in this. But Speech has, like, a teaser where, like, you do, like... It's like a cold open, and then you say, this is what the piece is about afterwards. I'm very curious if I have the intro somewhere. It does not look like it's here, but I hope I have it in my email otherwise. Because it's, like... It's always, like, something where it's, like, very serious. Where it's, like... I probably be like... Magic Mike was the biggest film of last summer, like very seriously, or something like that. This is what happens when you combine it with the biggest film of 2003 summer. Anyway, after the teaser, he heads to the bar and he meets the new bartender, Barbie. They shoot the reef a bit, where Barbie says she really liked Nemo's dance. Nemo thanks her and asks her what she's doing down here. That's it. That's Grinding Nemo.
Okay, great. I don't know. I might have to listen to this during editing and think about what's
just bleep the entire, like, alright, so here's
not.
the ending. So long. I can think of several
I'll tell you
writers
what,
of
it sounds like a screenplay that we would have
But
read
you know what
in
it is
college.
in? All caps.
So...
It's not in all caps. Were you not in the class for that? There's a class where
what was in all caps that we
it was
read?
the last day and we're all waiting for us to, like, well, it wasn't the last day, it was like the last day of a certain stage of a project, and we were all waiting to read this one person's, no, it was the final project. And we were all waiting to read this person, and then the professor dismissed us, like, with 30 minutes left, and then we're like, huh, that's weird. And then we heard the professor walk up very quietly to the person, and this person had been bad. This classmate had not written good stuff, and had not, like, taken feedback the entire semester. And the professor just goes, this will give me, I'm going to do an impression. I've taken a lot from you this semester. And yeah, Mark knows immediately who I am.
I just wasn't expecting it to be good.
And,
it was like, this, all right, go on.
Try to be calm and take every student in their own time. However, I cannot accept a final project in all caps. That's...
Now I get it. Yeah, I don't... Well, maybe I missed that
we explored
part.
the reef with Jean-Michel. We explored the reef and mostly other things, too.
Great. What are we doing next week, Danny?
Cousteau. Next week, we'll go on a detour. Boys Night Out. This is a short film that I believe... I didn't load up what it is. But it's by Teddy Newton, partially. And Teddy Newton goes on to direct the Day or Night short, which I don't know if you remember or not, but that's a big short film for Pixar. I believe it won the Oscar for them. He also becomes, like, a pretty steady, like, animator at Pixar who does voices in the movie, like, scratch voices in the movie they leave in the movie. This is a short film before he started his time as Pixar.
Au revoir. Looking for the Ocean is produced by Mark Young and Danny Vincent. Our original artwork was done by Sarah Knopf, and each episode is edited by me.
If you'd like to be notified about new episodes, you can find us on Facebook at Looking for the Ocean, a Pixar Journey, on Twitter at Pixar Journey, on Instagram at Looking for the Ocean Pod, and on our website, lookingfortheoceanpixar.podbean.com.
If you want to know what I'm up to, or find me on social media, you can head over to markyoungperformer.com.
And if you'd like to see all my takes on all the movies, you can find me on Letterboxd at Blankmans. If you'd like to hear me on another podcast, I also have The Snub Club, a podcast about film history. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.